you're one of the only folks I can really ask about this because you've done it all. And later this week, I think you might actually cut Jeff Hardy's head off on Turner. It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so I don't know if you're going to use a chainsaw or what that looks like, but
Should it
I
be a
know I'll be
Blueland?
watching.
I'm trying to think what brand chainsaw I should bring. We'll discuss that later.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you though, when they're not popping for the finishes, like normally when there's a kick out, if we're just watching, say, Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam, they put on a clinic. And man, there was a big pop for every false finish, not just the pinfalls, but when Cody would beat the count coming from outside of the ring back in the ring, there'd be a big reaction. Here, we're not getting the reaction for that. We're getting it for the weapons. I guess you know that going in. Does it change the way you structure a match, Jeff? Do you know they're not going to pop for a false finish? They're going to pop for a garbage can shot. Do you build the match differently because of that?
Case by case situation, but storytelling. You use Brock Cody. That story started in May, I think. So
April, the night after WrestleMania, April.
okay, so three or 4 month old story, but they've ingrained it. We're talking about two red hot entities. I think that has a lot to do with it. I also think the vibe and the aura and everything that goes with it. Let me say this: Trenton is right across the bridge from Philly. Heel crowd to the umpteenth. We're coming in there for our very first show. That crowd wanted to see violence. They weren't into the story. That's why I was saying story. Jay Lethal and Sanjay. You can just hear a Philadelphia crowd. I don't want to see you guys tear each other's clothes off, beat the hell out of each other. Just that mentality. And I don't want to call it an independent show feel, but it's the being introduced to the audience. The stories, we had 2 hours on Thursday night. We had either 3 or 4 episodes per month to tell a story. It's just not as ingrained. They're not as invested, and they are truly invested in the Cody Rhodes story. One so much so, and we both know what we think of it. So, this is not a 3-month-old story with Cody. It's a lifetime in a lot of ways. His journey, the whole world knows Cody's got to go through Brock to get back on track, and what's the next roadblock, and just that whole story. So that, to me, to answer your question, when you're laying out a match, I think you have to heavily weigh in from the very beginning. How invested are they in the story?